Sometimes people just do not give a shit about what you want. They will drop you when it does not help them, and they will take advantage of it over anything. Hello! It's Gateway to Geats time! Hello, Gateway to Geats. Yeah. We jump into a hella good episode this week. First things first, we have the new game for the 2-episode arc stuff going on. It's a tournament, they're setting it up, all that kind of stuff. And Keiwa is just ultimate bro. Because they're shopping for Neon. We'll get into that in a minute. But Ace is like, yo, you're acting really fucking calm for just realizing that I'm like a nigh immortal reincarnated man. And Keiwa's just like, yeah, but you're Ace. Like, you're not any different. I already knew you. It's just a new secret. So, like, what does it matter? And Ace is like, oh man, he's a good friend. He's a good friend. They get summoned to go do the tournament. Ace gets separated from Keiwa. So Keiwa is fighting. He's doing really fucking good. Because it's one-on-one. He's just fighting one other dude. And then they just go, psych, there's a second person in here. And Keiwa's going like, this is against the rules you set up. And they're like, we don't fucking care. Yeah, no, he's kidnapped. But, like, he was actually winning. They just fucking sneaked on him. He's too good of a soul. He's too honorable. Ace, however, is able to slip into the next round. He was supposed to be round 3. He slips into the next round. And he absolutely destroys his opponent. I know, we'll get into it in a bit. So that's really just the bare bones of the A-plot. That's all really that happened in the A-plot. But is that really the A-plot? Or is that really our B-plot? So let's get into our actual A-plot for the episode. It's Neon's birthday! And would you look at that? It's my birthday. Me and Neon share a birthday. She was born on April 4th. I was born on April 4th. This is adorable, and I love it. However, she's putting on a happy face. She is depressed. While other people are celebrating her. She's just like, I want to find love. I want care. I want that emotional connection. She's not getting it. And like I said, Keiwa and Ace are looking for a gift for her. And the tournament starts. And while they're waiting for the next round, which Neon was supposed to fight in, she runs into Kyun. And she's like, holy shit, you're the dude writing all the shit. How come every time we meet face to face, you're an asshole, and every time you write on the letters, you're like nice? And he gives a very tsundere answer, and she's like, fuck you. And he's like, why can't I tell her the truth? Kyun then runs into Neon's dad, and Neon's dad is very like fucking cryptic and weird. It's like, protect my daughter. My daughter, protect my daughter. She deserves the world. Protect my daughter. All that kind of stuff. And Ace does what Ace does. He snoops around. He gets to the bottom of things, and he does a little bit of math. He puts 2 and 2 together. He puts 3. He times it by 3. Oh man, holy shit, that's 9. What the fuck, right? Because he's going to look up where Neon was kidnapped because he has some gut feelings. And Neon's dad is there, placing flowers in the building. And Neon's dad is just like contemplative, all that kind of stuff. And Ace just goes like, wouldn't that be a lot better to give to your daughter who's alive? And the dad is just like, fuck you, you don't know shit. You don't know shit. And while Ace skipped a line to basically fight the next round instead of Neon, we get a bombshell. Because Baroba, who's VTubing, okay, really putting all the bad stuff on VTubers, huh, Baroba? How could you do this to the VTubing community? But basically, Baroba doxes Neon and says like, oh yeah, hey, she's a magical wish person. And it's revealed that Neon, the kidnapping, she died. And she wasn't Neon. And then we just see a bunch of sad shit of Aeon's mom being inconsolable in grief and all this horrible things, as the producer for the DGP is in a meeting with Neon's dad as he is like inconsolable with grief. And the producer's just like, alright, cool, give us what we want, right? Give us what we want. And you'll get your wish. And he puts on the note, I wish for the daughter who would, like, all of my principles, like, achieve them. Neon. And it's just like, like, it's heartbreaking, it's heart-wrenching, it's just, and fuck, the DGP just takes advantage of it. The assholes. And when all that information gets out, Ace gets fucking pissed. And that's when he goes fucking sicko mode and is like the most brutal he's been this entire season. He is straight up John Wick. He is just like, nope, I don't give a shit. Bang, bang, boom, boom. Fuck it, you're done. And it's like, oh shit, he's been fucking with us the entire time. Like, every bad guy sphincter just like, oh, he's been fucking with us. Oh shit, he's been fucking with us. Oh no. And that's when the episode ends. I don't mind getting all these very, very pointed cliffhanger episode kind of endings for this kind of stuff. This one was a little weaker. Just a little bit. But the DGP uses Neon's dad's grief against him to get what they want, to get their foot in the door in the time period and make everything function. And Neon's fans drop her the moment they realize she's a wish person. It's just like, ew, gross. They do not care for the person themselves, only what they get out of it. It's not altruistic. It's not genuine care and appreciation. And it kind of just makes me want to, I wouldn't say, like, it makes me want to rephrase the theme of the show so far. Because we've been talking about a bunch of different webs of that, and I definitely think it's much more of like, desires are worthy of effort and respect. And those that don't respect other people's desires only cause misery. Like, that's a pretty overarching conceptual idea for the franchise and the series, I mean. But it works because that kind of like, look at the Pan. He only wanted to use his wish to hurt other people, and thus it's just misery. It's not a desire, it's misery. The Jamato Grand Prix, that's all they're about. It is the idea that desire and the respect of it and the care for it and like understanding other people's desire is in and of itself the opposite of misery. It is connection, it is love, it is care for other people, and I think that's interesting. I think that's a neat way to kind of display that theme. But this was a damned good episode. And hey, I fucking called it with that Neon Wish thing. I didn't get the exact details. I don't think anybody specifically got the exact details, because I'm definitely not the only person who called that Neon Wish thing. But hey, I'm proud of myself for calling it. Let me have this. And this episode definitively just shows me Ace is not the cocky, headstrong guy that he looks like most of the time. He is a kind person who puts on a facade in order to protect himself of like years of trauma and all this shit. He is a kind soul who feels like he has to act like an asshole. And like that moment where he just lets loose after someone hurts his friend is just amazing. Keiwa, fucking Keiwa, goodest boy. He is a good person, and I love him. It's just like, he actually got some good fight in. He was winning. Then they cheated. Fuck them. The ending fight scene was amazing. Just whew, one of the best. And this is one of the best kind of like reveal episodes. You know, like how they kind of like plant seeds and then they reveal some information. This was one of the best reveal episodes so far. Great acting from everyone involved. Neon, the man who plays Neon's dad, fucking nailed that wish scene. Ugh. The tears, though. The tears. And hey, look at that. Look at. It's almost as if there's a secondary plot going on this little bit of tearing down the parasocial relationships that the sponsors have. You know, we had Jean last time, and now we have Kyun kind of like re-examining his relationship with Neon, and it's like, oh man, this is kind of toxic. It's very fascinating. Great episode this week. And hey, if you want to see my thoughts on next week's episode, hey, like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to see this video and many more in the future. You can also follow me on social media platforms, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all Boingo_writer. You can follow me on Tumblr, link to that is in the description. You can also join the Discord server. Have at thee, and you can come and watch me stream on Twitch, Monday, Thursdays, and Fridays. But hey, that's not all we do on this show. That's not all we do on this little video series I do here. We also talk about comments that you guys left because they're nice and good. From Toa Nui, I'm a little disappointed. We already got rid of Boost 2 Exhaustion, but I do like that Ace now has gravity manipulation added to the form, so that's neat. And I totally gotta agree with the time stop being an awesome power. I'm still holding on to the theory that Jean is a reincarnation of Ace, especially because he seemed to be glitching out when Ace was about to die, and perhaps his flippant attitude towards death is because he eventually lost memories of the reincarnation. And I can't believe Jean docks Baroba like that. Yeah, Jean just straight up docks Baroba. It's like, bitch, you're 300. It's like, yeah, it's great. It's great. And with this episode, we're shown that they're still going to use Boost Mark 2. It's like a dual thing. Like, they're using both. It's not like it's just gone. They only used it for one episode. Which I think is nice. It's good. It works. It works. Though I don't think Jean fits being a reincarnation. I think if it's glitchy, I think it might fit better if he was like a descendant, you know? Like the whole grandfather paradox. If your grandfather dies, you don't exist. Go back in time, kill your grandfather. You know that kind of thing. I think that would work. I think if he was a reincarnation, he would just exist anyway because this is how he would reincarnate into Jean. You know what I mean? Next up, from Slime Beast 2003. Today's episode is just Parasocial Man from the future touches grass and develops as a person, and then Geats gets a power-up. I also feel like it's interesting that every other future writer seems to have understood some of what Jean learned this episode, or at least Kekara does, and that's why he wants Kawa to help people. Yeah, there is definitely a secondary theme throughout, or a secondary concept throughout Geats of like fandom and fandom culture. You know, and that's cool. That's really neat. And with Kyun kind of going through his own character arc this episode, it definitely feels like they're trying to like take down and re-examine what being a fan and what does that mean, you know? What does it mean when like your only desire is to just watch someone else? And what does that do to you? I think that's what they're trying to get at. And yeah, he just fucking touched grass. Touch grass, people. It's good for you. Next up, from Sakura Tora. He had died so many times, he is accustomed to it. How many ways has he died? Has he lost lives due to illness? Cut off at an early age to the GGP? Has he lost friends, families, children? Has it made him less likely to form attachments because of it? Is that why he calls Neon and Kawa Nago and Tycoon? Maybe in the future episodes he'll call them by their name, showing that he's no longer afraid from deeper bonds. He sounds tired of the loop and his misery that accompanies it. I wonder if the end for him will be he will get to finally rest. Him implying that he suffered a lot yet again changes perspectives of things said earlier in the episode. It's better to forget this tragedy, becomes less callous and more how he wishes he could forget all of his, and it'd be best for others to do the same to move on. Michi, who is Buffa, certainly is an example of how wise it'd be to follow Ace's advice, because obsession with his tragedy and bringing him down a dark path that I'm not sure he can recover from. It's a weird bit of pathos for Ace, of very much he has put on so much pain and trauma and death because of what he's been through, that like it does recontextualize his everything. Of course he's cocky. He has lived through life before. He has done this 1,000 times. Of course he's callous. He doesn't want to form connections, and it's really, really interesting. And yeah, that better to forget thing. And I wonder if the show will ultimately say, like, yeah, it is kind of better to not dwell on this stuff, or is it like gonna refute that in some way? It's like, no, these memories make you who you are, kind of thing, you know. And it's fascinating. It's really interesting. It is really, it's a different take, and I had a thought on, like, you know how they kind of like leave the Kamen Rider, the main character, in like a status quo at the end of the season, so if they ever want to do crossovers, it's like it's real easy to just go like, they're doing this. Here's what I want for Geats' crossover. Like, his in-show status quo for, like, whatever happens when he shows up in other people's movies. It's simply this. He is on vacation. He has struggled for so long that he just now is like, alright, cool, I'm just gonna go fucking take a nap. I'm gonna go vacation. Fuck everything. And he just gets wrapped up in shit. That's just a cute idea. Next up, from the Awesome Man 13. I really like that one of the running motifs is the Roman coin. It really encapsulates the DGP, Ace's character arc, and the whole show itself. If one is familiar with history, one would know that the Roman Empire was one of the most powerful empires of its time, but crumbled due to competition and hubris. But even after their fall, multiple empires followed that exact predicament. This is shown through the world needs a winner to be declared, and the staff expressing hubris until Baroba, it really forces them to rethink. Also, Rome is known for gladiator fights, which is what the DGP is, kind of. This also explains both its Ace character arc and the whole idea of the show. There's the idiom saying Rome wasn't built in the day, meaning you can't expect great things or to do great things in a short period of time. Ace's character arc of finding his mom through reincarnation really emphasizes this point. He really is putting his blood, sweat, and tears into the journey and not cutting corners. This also flies in the face, this also ties into the theme of desire as well. The text is small and it's hard to read. What you desire can't be complete through the wishes or lottery tickets, or whatever, because you won't be satisfied in the end. Buffa as an example. Yes, and taking Rome as just like a conceptual idea, Rome didn't die. Like, there isn't like a day when it's just like the Roman Empire was no more. Rome got split and turned into other empires. Rome beget the Byzantines. The Byzantines beget another, and so on. Italy and Germany, the Holy Roman Empire, all these different kinds of things in Europe. And that's Rome. That's the legacy of Rome. Realistically, you could even point to the United States of America as like a legacy of Rome, a reincarnation of Rome, you know? And Rome wasn't built in a day. That's a great concept, because it's also like, that's what Ace has been saying. It's just like, yeah, just fight for your desire. It'll take time, it'll take effort, but you fight for it. It's worth it, you know, that kind of stuff. And yeah, Buffa is definitely becoming like a mirror to Ace's like very stoic concepts. No wait, just one, just fight, just doesn't matter what happens, doesn't matter who gets hurt or anything like that. You know? And there's a conceptual idea with the idea of the time periods that we see Ace in, because we see Rome, which is, I wouldn't say a time of unrest, but it's gladiator fights, it's all that kind of stuff. It's Empire, it's blah. And then we have the Sengoku period, which is the warring state, so war, death, trauma, all this kind of stuff. And then the Ace Garfield looks very distinctly American Great Depression. It is bootlegged, all that kind of stuff. And like all these different time periods are times of unrest and uncivility, and I wonder if that has anything to do with either the themes of things, of like tough times, you got to work through it, and you gotta work at it, all this kind of stuff, or if the DGP just likes to target unstable time periods to put the game in. And finally, from Esconde. Regarding the nitpick, I think anyone who has the Vision Driver in their possession can warp to the Goddess without the fingerprint authorization. Baroba did it before when she first stole the driver, though Michinaga really should have gotten the fingerprint from Baroba while he was at it. As far as my own nitpicks with this episode, I wish we had some consistency when it comes to writing regarding the buckles each of the characters have. I know Keiwa and Michinaga each have a command buckle. It's a little weird in universe why they don't use them all the time. I know the real explanation is CG budget limits. Also wish we had some more scenes to explain the stuff that happened. Like, how did Keiwa and Neon find Ace so fast? How did Keiwa charge up the sword that quick off screen? How exactly does the laser rise cure the jet lag? My hope was that by connecting it to the driver, it modifies Ace's body to be able to withstand the extreme speed, making it in ideal conditions. Making the ideal conditions real. Lastly, Laser Boost, a good form, but I prefer Boost Mark II, and wish Jean parts only gave him Mask and Scarf. But that wouldn't be a deal for toy sales, I imagine. Nitpicks aside, I really still enjoyed the episode. Yeah, no, I can understand the nitpicks with Boost Mark II and the armored form. The armored form's growing on me, especially after this episode where it just got a lot of badass moments. And yeah, you and a lot of other people pointed out that I got the thumb thing mixed up. Hey, my brain is poo sometimes. It brain be poo. Woohoo, brain poo. And I like the interpretation that I think a lot of us kind of like got to in the comments last episode, last video, of like he's using the gravity powers to act as like a grav suit. And I think that's cool. I think it's like a G suit, you know, like how pilots wear, so he can handle the G's better. Because, like, he's exhausted, but you know what a lot of G-Force does? It makes you pass out, you know? Kind of works thematically. But hey, again, that's it for all the comments. And if you like this video, like it. If you want to leave a comment, please do leave a comment. I love comments. And subscribe. See this and many more. And until next time, stay geetsing.